Hey guys, I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I just got in around 1 o'clock yesterday, and I was so tired last night I didn't feel like filming anything. I'm actually at a resort. It's called the Cibola Blue Green Resort in Peoria. There's just mountains all around us. Just beautiful mountains everywhere you look. I got in yesterday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The flights weren't too bad, but I had to take two. I was so tired. I have not been sleeping at all, and part of the reason I was looking forward to this trip is just being able to sleep. So when I got in, I was like, I'm not going to film anything. I'm just going to eat, relax, and then pass out, which is exactly what I did. So around like 8 o'clock this time, it was more like 9. For me, that's like 11. I just passed out and I got really good sleep. I actually don't even know what time it is. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and I've been awake for like an hour. Funny how early you can be when you are used to a completely different time frame. So this is when you first walk in, and then on the right there's bedroom, and there's the light. There's a light. I like sleeping with another comforter, so I like pulled it out of the closet. When I sleep, I have to have something really heavy on me. Is anyone else like that? I don't know what it is. I just really feel comfortable and comforted when there is just extra heavy material on me to cozy up in. Drank my LaCroix last night and actually still have some. This stuff is so good. It doesn't have any calories or sugar, it just has the flavor of coconut, and it's just sparkling water. But yeah, this bed, guys, is so cozy. It's so comfortable. The mattress is like super soft, and it's not memory foam, but I mean, it almost feels just like plush. And then we've got down feathers, beautiful. And I sleep with my little air noise machine. I don't know. I am very interesting when it comes to sleeping. Like, I have to have something heavy on me, but I also like the little white noise in the background. Really out the window. These windows are a little dirty, but yeah, there's a little courtyard and then parking lot. And then there's a little closet right here that has like ironing board. There is actually a washer and dryer in the rooms. And these rooms are upgraded. It's got a really huge shower, like massive shower. Yeah, it's really nice. Big, huge mirror. Grab my drink. But I'm actually like, I feel pretty well rested. I'm just a little bit like, you know when you like had just a really busy day, but you like didn't really have time to kind of enjoy where you are, and that's kind of how I feel. Like sometimes when I go on vacation, it takes me like a day to unwind, and then finally like it's like the next day or the day after that I'm like, okay, I'm really enjoying myself. So I really think that whenever I book myself on vacation, I need to take at least a week, because the first couple of days sometimes can be like, oh my gosh, let me learn to rest. I'm having my morning cup of tea with a little bit of almond milk, and I did not buy sugar last night. Like, the only thing they have here is salt and pepper, and obviously like the basics, like there's no oil or anything to cook with, but there's like dish detergent, paper towels. So we got a couple of items yesterday at the grocery store. They don't have good water supply here, so I ended up getting like a massive thing of like 32 bottles of water. It was only like $2. And then tons of veggies. There's some stuff in there. I love liverwurst. I don't know if anyone else likes it, but me and the girl that are staying here, and my friend who lives here too, that was driving us from the airport here, she likes this too. So we ended up buying that. I got some salmon and a crab cake. I got some basil in there and some Parmesan cheese, because that is Caesar, like romaine salad. And then I've got Caesar dressing, which I'll just put that down there. Cucumber, some limes, because the lemons here are a little bit more expensive than I'm used to, but the limes are not. There are some mushrooms in there. This is broccoli rapini, if you guys have ever seen it. It's a little bit more bitter than regular broccoli or baby broccoli, but it is so good for you, and I absolutely love it. I think it's delicious. I got some almond milk, there's some water, some eggs. This is some bread left over from yesterday. Here I've got some passion fruit and strawberries in the back, and that's a plate of cheese that my friend who lives here just decided to donate to us, and she was like, I'm contributing this so we can have like a girls' night. And she also contributed some wine. So we have a couple things, and then in here I'm getting ready to prep some food for the week. These are dandelion greens, and I'm just soaking everything in here so that they can get cleaned up. Got some green onions. I'm about to cook some breakfast too, and some, I don't know what kind of pepper it is. I know it's a red pepper. I don't know if it's like a bell pepper or a type of bell pepper. And then zucchini. I've got some tomatoes. I've got some shiitake mushrooms also, because these are like my favorite. I bought some potatoes, and you see I've got some right here on the table. I keep my tomatoes out of the fridge because I think it messes up their taste if you keep them in the fridge. I bought 2 onions, another sweet potato, then a bunch of red potatoes. Now this is a fun little type of sweet potato. It's called, I believe, a golden sweet potato, but I just thought they were so cute. They were really small in comparison to like the regular ones, but I was like, this is just an easy prep for if you're only needing, you know, a couple of days worth of produce, because you're not having to save a bunch and cut up a big massive sweet potato. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got my pan ready, big nice knife. I always love working with bigger knives for whenever I'm chopping up veggies. But I'm gonna put some tomatoes in there, potatoes. I cut everything really small, and I'm gonna put a sweet potato in there, some onion. I'm gonna cut up some zucchini, some bell pepper, and some green onions. And this is not for breakfast. This is for, I'm gonna have a salad throughout my time here. And I love them. I think dandelion greens are so good for you, but I also like the taste. And that's what the limes are for. I'm just gonna make like a quick dressing. I've got the bowl that I'm gonna use for the salad. I've got myself together somewhat, but I was actually sitting down here in the morning and looking over some of my findings from yesterday. I went to a store and just kind of stocked up on some jewelry supplies. It's called SJ Jewelry Supply, and it's here in Phoenix. It's downtown, but they carry pretty much everything you could possibly need. And if they're out of something, they can order it online for you and ship it to you wherever you want it. So I'm going to show you guys what I bought. I've got 2 different kinds of wire. One's a half round and one's a square. I got less of the square and more of the half round. I think about 10 feet, because I use this to wrap around my ammonite pieces. So those work really well for that. This is an awesome tool that I have been looking for 2 years, and they had it. And basically, like, it's used for something totally different. It's like a little dappling tool. I think they call it plier dimple hooked jaw. And this I am not going to use for that. So you know how, like, if you're a jewelry maker, you'll make a bezel and you'll have like, oh, I've got some veggies on there. You'll make a bezel, and then it's got the wall around it, or I guess the sides that stick up. And so if you want to grab it like this, and then you want to solder, say you want to solder a bail to it, and this is like, you know, lazy way, because I know most people just lay it flat. But if you wanted to solder it like up in the air, then you could grab it with one of these tools. It'll grab it like this, and then you can grab the bail with another tool and then just put them together, and that'll keep the tension while you're soldering them. So I thought that was just a really, really neat idea to use as a soldering tool. And then this is a dappling hammer, which I'm going to use for my discs that I bought. So here is 14 karat gold little disc. There's 2 different sizes in there. There's a bigger one, a smaller one. And then I also got them in sterling silver. But I love the look of like the little choker type necklace where you've got like the little disc in the center, like, and it hangs right on the collarbone. So that's what I'm going to try to do with these. And so these right here, they're like little connectors. If you ever like that look of stacking your necklaces but your chains get all tangled, this is what that's for. And you just have each chain coming out of one of these loops and it keeps them separate. So I bought one of those, or I bought one of the 3 and then 2 of the smaller ones that have just the 2 because they didn't have another 3. I also bought some arrows. I think they are so fun and I think they're really pretty. So I think that's going to look really cute. Just like a simple sterling silver necklace, like choker style. Then I decided that because I can't find bulk copper chain anywhere, I bought a ton of it from them. So I think there's like, I want to say it's like 180 inches of it. So I can make like 10 18-inch chains. But yeah, I bought like a ton of it and it's really high quality. And then to go with it, I bought some of the findings. These are the jump rings and then some bails. And I was going to buy lobster clasp, but they didn't have the regular copper. They had the antique ones, so I'm going to have to find those online, which I don't think would be that hard. Yeah, and the last thing is some copper solder. So yeah, that is really cool. I didn't even know they made copper solder. I'm kind of a new jewelry maker. But yeah, so I'm gonna put all these back here a minute and then I'll get started on my breakfast. And even though I don't have, I wanted to tell you guys too about this tea. This tea is incredible. It is so good. It's like a really yummy version of chai, but like in green tea form instead of black. So I kind of like it. I feel like it's a little healthier for me. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna enjoy my tea, and then here in a minute I will take you guys over to the counter and we're gonna make some breakfast. Okay, so I started prepping some of the veggies already, and I've got my potato, I've got some tomato, and then this is the sweet potato. And if you're curious how I cut my potatoes so tiny like that, what I basically do is I'll cut them in half like that, then I'll cut it in half again, and then what it leaves me with is this 1/2, and then I slice it all the way down lengthwise. And then once I do that, in order to like, I don't actually cut them this way because I can still make them even smaller. So I'll separate it like that. I'll turn it on its side and then literally slice it one more time down that way, and that'll make them even smaller. And then once I've done that, then yes, I'll cut them this way. So let me show you guys. So I just finished cutting them, those 2 sides that you saw down the middle again, and now you've got these tiny little cubes, and then I just slice them all the way down, and there you go. You end up with tiny little baby cubes. I love itty bitty food like that. There's something about it that it just makes it like so much easier to eat for me. So now I'm just going to take some green onions and I'm going to cut up some of this zucchini and a little bit of bell pepper, and then some mushrooms, and we'll get started. So I've got my onions in here, and I forgot to tell you guys, I did cut up half of an onion. I think it was just a white onion. And then I've got my green onions, so they're cooking away. I ended up getting the olive oil. And now I'm going to chop up a little bit of the pepper and a little bit of the zucchini. Alright, so I've got my zucchini, my potatoes I put in there already, my sweet potatoes. The tomato and the bell pepper cook about the same amount of time, so I'm going to put those in together. That's probably going to be all this I'm going to put at the same time. And then I'm going to add the mushrooms in at the same time as well. So I'm almost done, and you see how like cute and tiny it is? It literally is like a hash. And then I'm gonna finish cutting up all of these, so then tomorrow when I go to make this again, it's already prepped for me. Hey guys, I'm standing underneath the shade of a saguaro cactus, and we just hiked, I'd say what, like an hour? An hour. It's really hot out here and really dry, and along the way we've been finding little messages from God. cross laid out in stone right off the path. Like, God is just so awesome. Standing under a cactus in the shade. And we are trying to head back to our resort, which is actually right there. Those buildings you see. So we're kind of like figuring it out as we go. It's an adventure. And we just hiked all that up in there. There's like that trail that you see that cuts across the side. That's where we were. Now Elizabeth's getting a cooling towel out.
It's hot.
I've already gone through a bottle and a half of water, and I'm about to go through another half of one. You've got to have water in the desert. Hey guys, we just got back from our hike and I started to unwind and just kind of laid there because it was so hot outside that I think I got like a mini headache from the heat. I had a hat on, I had enough water, but I'm not used to being in such a hot climate. So I think my body was just like, hey, you need some shade. So awesome enough, like I prayed and asked the Lord to give us some shade or a cloud or something, and he provided a ton of shade kind of towards the end of our hike. And we made our way back to the resort without having to use a lift, which was super cool. And now I'm just kind of unwinding and getting ready to eat something for lunch. It's like a late lunch, 3 o'clock. But yeah, so I'm gonna turn this around and show you guys what I'm making for lunch. So I just finished cutting up all of these dandelion greens and it took up the entire bowl. And so now I'm gonna squeeze some limes in here and I'm gonna add some salt and some olive oil. Okay, it's all done. I put some salt in there, some olive oil, and 2 limes. And I'm just stirring it up. And then I'm going to have another tea, Thai green stash tea, and I'm going to add some water. This is bottled water that I just put inside of this water jug. I'm just going to microwave it. I'll usually do 2 minutes for any kind of tea. So I hiked for about 2 hours and I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way to be prepared to be in the heat like that. And so far what I've come up with is stay super hydrated before you go, and definitely bring, we had a cooling towel and it helped tremendously. This is actually what I have left from the 3 bottles that I brought with me. So I drank all of them. I probably would have drank 1 more, but I was trying to just make sure I didn't drink them all and I had enough. So that's 16.9 ounces. So I drank over 50 ounces of water. Is that right? So it's 32, yeah. And I'm having some of this too. So just stay really hydrated. I think that'll really help. I'm gonna have some chicken. I might cook a potato or 2, the salad, and then I'm gonna have some tea here in a minute. Really, right now, I just wanna relax. I really enjoy Arizona. I like it a lot. There's something so simplistic and serene. So, I wanted to chat a little bit and talk about how awesome God is and how he like showed up in amazing ways today. So I came out here to rest, as I said earlier, and since I hit the ground here, I've been like getting, like my phone's been blowing up. I've been getting like crazy things like thrown at me, and it's not like it's not like I'm upset or anything. Like, it's just life, you know, stuff that's happening around me. And in my family. And it seemed to me that the enemy was just really, really battling against me, like just resting. But God has been really awesome in that He has been showing up in just incredible ways. I showed you guys the cross, and I got really tired, and I was like, I don't know if like I'm gonna want to hike all the way back or just get a lift. But a part of me was just like, let's just see what God can do and if He can bring us back, because I could see the resort from where we were up on the mountain, and it was probably about like 35 minutes from where we were to the resort walking. And I had no idea where I was going because none of the trails that we took to come back were really marked on a map. So we were just trusting, and I was just letting the Lord be my GPS. And I kept hearing God say to me, keep your eyes on the prize. Just keep my focus on where I was going. As long as I could see the resort, I was heading in that right direction. And at one point, I decided to actually use the GPS, and so I looked down at my phone and I put in the resort address to where we were, and literally it was just 2 streets away. So God is just so good. I mean, He got us straight here, and then the little signs along the way, like I prayed for shade. I prayed for a cloud. He gave me a shade with a cactus, and then I didn't show you guys this, but later on, the way that we were coming, there was all these like trees, and we just sat under a tree for like 10 minutes talking and drinking water and just kind of relaxing in the shade. So it really just showed me like how amazing God is. And then even like the family stuff that's going on, I was getting a lot of phone calls even when I was trying to walk and hike and take in the Lord's presence and the beauty around me. And I was just asking the Lord to take all of it and help and heal my family and whatever needed to be done. I was asking the Lord to really come through, and praying over the situation, and things have been drastically improving. I'm getting good reports. Things are just like, you can see God's hand at work. My mom was saying something about how God is with us, and the fact that my mom's recognizing that is like a huge thing for me. It's a huge thing for her too. But yeah, I mean, God is just, I have to brag on Him. Like, sometimes you set out to, I guess, like, you have like a mission of, maybe it's just rest, but it could be anything. And you're doing it, but then all of a sudden, like, you see some resistance, and if you don't stop and pray, I mean, that's kind of where you drop the ball. Like, the entire time that all this was happening, we were stopping and praying, my friend and I, and we were stopping and praying over and over again. Like, there wasn't a time where we just were like, felt defeated, like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. It was just, okay, let's pray. Okay, let's pray. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, is like, it's so easy to just be focused on what you're doing and just being like, God, I can't handle this right now, whatever. But instead of doing that, why don't we just go, Lord, just take this. Lord, can you take care of this? And just keep praying and asking God to show up mightily. And He is. So I'm still praying through all of this that's going on, but I know that God is sovereign, and I know that there's an amazing testimony on the other side of this. I'm gonna like drink a lot more water, because I think I don't think I'm dehydrated, but I think that my body is just like, oh my goodness, it's really hot. You need to drink a lot of water. And so I'm trying to get my body to be at a place of like, okay, we're good. I'm also using chapstick like crazy. Like, I've probably applied chapstick already 15 times today. It's just, and I probably need to do it again. It's just really dry. And I think my lips were a little chapped before I came. So I really like to use this right here. It's called Yes to Coconut. It is probably the best chapstick I've ever had. It heals my lips within days, like maybe one day, and the next day I'm like, oh, it's gone. I was using Burt's Bees before and it was okay, but I didn't like the mintiness of it because I don't want something minty on my lips, especially if they're really chapped. But this right here, nothing. And there's another one that I use, and it's like all natural ingredients, like from, I want to say like a Whole Foods, but really this is my favorite all-time chapstick. It's the best. I think I'm just gonna relax for a little bit, unwind. I might watch, there's this show that I like to watch on Amazon Prime. It's in Italian and I don't understand Italian. I know Spanish, and some of the words are kind of hard to understand. Some of them I can understand, but I'm reading subtitles the whole time. But this show, you guys, this show is so good. If you like detective work kind of movies, it's kind of like a movie because each show is like 2 hours long. But it's called The Young Montalbano. And I'm gonna have to put that on the screen because it's really an Italian name, but The Young Montalbano. And this show is so awesome. Like, it's one of those, like, it's very pure. Like, there's nothing bad. It's just so interesting, and like, I love it. And I'm not usually one to watch subtitles, but this show really gets my attention. Like, when I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I want to know what's gonna happen. And it's very real life oriented. Like, it has a lot of what you would expect detective work to be, and they do such a good job. The actors are incredible. The storylines are amazing. So just a great show if you guys want to watch something that'll challenge you just a bit. But anyways, I'm gonna watch some of that, and then I might lay down and just take another nap. I feel like I'm starting to catch up on my sleep, which is really nice. But I think tonight I'm gonna go to bed earlier than I did last night, probably around 7 o'clock this time, because then that would be 9 o'clock my time. I really just, I don't know what it is, but I love getting up early and going to sleep early. I am not as late of an owl as I used to be. Like, this girl has to get into bed by latest 10 o'clock. And even then, sometimes that's just, it's like a little taxing on me. So I actually like to go to bed by like 9:30. I don't know, I just, when the sun goes down, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go down too. And then when the sun comes up, I'm kind of like, as long as I know, like if my windows are blacked out, like if I've got blackout curtains, then I wouldn't know. But I really enjoy getting up and just kind of starting my day before everybody else does, and the quiet of the morning, the quiet, I just think there's something to be said about that. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me on this daily vlog, and I will probably vlog some more tomorrow. I'm gonna hang out with my friend that lives here. She's coming to the resort, and we're just gonna have a cool girls' day. So I'm gonna have you guys come with me tomorrow. So until then, bye guys.